Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report, and starting with the ASX 200 here. The situation here on the daily chart for the ASX 200, the way I see it, is that the move from wave 4 here up to wave 5 here, we do have 5 waves in this move here. So we've either got wave 1 here of wave 5, so wave 5 would be further up there, and so wave 1 here, and then some sort of correction that can eventually take us down into this space here, just below the 5,900 to 6,000 here, and we'd be looking at a 3-wave correction. So the move currently down through here is in 3 waves. That's why I've assumed that this would be wave 4 here, but it's taking quite some time to do this move here, and I was looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down to here, then an ABC pattern coming back up to this space here, roughly, and then down again here as an ABC correction to here. So an A wave, a B wave, and we still probably be on that track. But the thing that sort of concerns me a little bit is that this move through here is taking too long for this 4th wave. A 4th wave compared this size here to the wave 2 that would be in here is quite small, and this is quite large. I know this is being pulled by it's being basically locked in there by the mining sector moving up and the finance sector sort of to the downside. So the other point with this here too is that I was counting this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to here. Perhaps this is just the A wave here. The B wave is going to climb a little bit higher into this space here in this sequence, and then come down from here. The odd thing about this here, it appears that there's overlapping wave structures within all of this, but the irony with this is that even though it looks corrective, all the moves to the upside are in a bullish pattern. So we're getting all these little sequences to the upside within this structure have 5 waves in them, and all the moves to the downside have got 3 waves in it. So the actual structure is pointing to the upside. How far will it go is the question. Normally I would look at the volume within this, because corrections are normally on lower volume, but we're not getting lower volume in this. I mean, before I go to the 4-hour chart, this is the banking sector here. If I just squash it all up in here, this is the banking sector here, the XJO for Australia. And with this here, if we conclude that this move up here is in 5 waves, which I can count it as 5 waves, and then we have our A wave and our B wave and our C wave coming back. So up for 1, ABC coming back for 2, then up for 1 here and back for 2 here, and then we can go up from here. If we take this low out here, then all of this pattern, not just this one, but all of this here becomes a much more bearish pattern. So this low here on the XXJ is really low, is important. We could use the same for BHP, WBC, ANZ, and so on. So this is the low that we need to watch out for here. So we can go up from here. The structure is telling me that we can go up from here, as long as this is not pierced here, not broken here. Normally we can see the finance sector heading one way. Most of the time the finance sector is heading one way, and the materials is heading in the other direction. There are times when they run together. If we look at the material sector, the XMJ here for a moment, we can see here that I see this pattern coming down through here it appears to be bullish corrective here, so we can make new highs up here. That's why we've gone long in BHP for this. So yeah, I mean, we will meet supply up here, and this will correct back down into this space here, but we are seeing quite good volume we're seeing an uptrend here with increasing volume. That tells you that it's a trend. Here we're seeing the market stall a little bit here and the last sort of 2 bars here, but that's okay because we're seeing it on lower volume here. So I know that this is just corrective. So with BHP and so on, we'll just see this as corrective here. Also with the banking sector and the volume here, if we look at that for a moment, XXJ, which is just the banks. If you want the finance sector, that would be the FXJ. So here we're seeing the same thing as well. We've seen some nice strong volume come into this area through here, which is bullish, and then the move back down through here is on lower volume here. So that's also bullish, even though it's moved down, it's on lower volume. That's a bullish sort of pattern. So we just need to see how this travels in this space. So we'll know sort of shortly. If this drops below here, then we'll see this here drop down from this point here as well. This will follow that that side of it. But the material sector and the banking sector have both experienced this, and it's being locked in there by those two sectors here. So moving into the 4-hour chart here, I'm still got this here. I've just been looking at different ways to count all of this, but every time I look at it, we're always getting 5 waves to the upside and 3 to the downside. 5 to the upside, 3 to the downside, and even these here are 5 to the upside and 3 to the downside here. But what we don't have here is that at this particular stage, we don't have, this is just the hourly chart, we don't have this as support on, this is the closest largest number in this area here, 6,200. So currently it's been resistant through here, and we are long from here, and I have moved the stop up under these lows here to this point here. But we can't go long and we can't go short. We can only go long once this establishes support on the 6,200 area through here. So that's sort of what we're looking at actually. And we're not going to go short unless this group here, the minor level here at 6,200, then group 1, which is 10, 20 and 30. If we get support on top of 30, then we know we're pushing high at that point, because getting support on a number 3 here separates the orders flow from being pulled from this larger number here. The 3 will separate the balance just changes once the 3 here becomes the support, and people start looking at the number 5 at this point, 6,250, and the orders seem to gather at that space rather than here, and getting support here separates that. So we can't go short unless we get under group 2 here. So and we're not there either yet. So we're still in a rock and a hard place with this. I don't have any answers here. We just need to be really mindful of the situation and be prepared to don't get locked in on being long or short here. And yeah, so I can see that the material sector, the BHPs want to push higher. We just need to know if the banks are going to take us higher as well. So yeah, just as I mentioned with the banking sector here, and CBAs like this here, we just need to, so if we count this as 5 waves up as wave 1, then we'd look at this as an ABC pattern. So that's for all the individual banks, the main 4 banks anyway. So if this is going to be pulling back to here, which it has done, that's fine. But if it starts to move up through here, then of course we're going to see this market here climb up higher here too. So that's what we're looking for. So I'll be keeping a real close eye on the CBA as well. We're long in CBA as well. So we'll see. We need to see what occurs within all of this here. So we're long, but we're not heavily long. We'll add to the position if we get support on here, and we can add through these levels here as well. Yeah, look, that's just how it is. I'm going to move on to China next. In fact, I'll move on to Hong Kong first. So with Hong Kong here, we've got this whole move down through here, and it does suit nicely as an A wave and a B wave over here, and then a C wave here. And yes, I could have it down as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then all of this is wave 3 here. And then in that case, for wave 4, we would come back 38.2% retracement level from this low here, which brings us into this space, basically where it is here. So seems a bit short. This must be right. So let's just see this here as well. So if we get support on 28,000 here, then that would be a real line in the sand. Well, with a wave 4, it can either pull back to the 38.2% retracement level or the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So really, we have to give it a little bit of space here to do this. So from this wave 4 here to the 38.2% retracement, well, that's it there, that's its target there. So one of the things that I wanted to look at in this move up here, if it's going to be corrective, it's going to be a little bit tricky, because it can be corrective means that it can be 5 waves up here, and then an ABC pattern, and then another 5 waves up here. Right, so an A and a B and a C wave here. So currently at the moment we've got 3 little waves up here, but we're not. This is not big enough here as a wave 4. It's still too small. So really in this pattern here, we're just in here at the moment, just at the top here. So if we do get 5 waves here, then I know that we'll get a correction, and then we'll get another 5 here. So what I am concerned about with these 3 waves here, I don't think it's the case, but it could be, these 3 waves here can be part of this leg here. So 5 waves down, ABC correction, and then another 5 waves down through here, and we come even lower from here. I don't think it's the case, but we need to be mindful of that. And the way to be mindful of that is look from this low here, well, even this low here to this high here, and find 61.8% back in here. And if that's breached, then you know that we'll be coming lower at that point there. So really with this here, we're calling a low in here, but I don't have any evidence of it. I don't even have 5 waves up here. If it was going to be a bullish move up here, then we'll also still need the same pattern of 5 waves here and 3 waves here. So if we get this here, then we'll look to if we get 5 waves up and we get an ABC, well, if we get 5 waves here, we'll get 3 waves of the corrective wave, and we can move in long from here. But that's still a way off here, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we would come in long over this side over here. Currently this move up here, I've labelled it as an ABC pattern, so we don't get too excited about it here in terms of 5 waves up for wave 1, or A here, B here, and wave C coming up here. But if it was going to be more bullish, then I would count this a little bit differently. I'd kind of expect this is from this low here to this high here, this is the 50-60% retracement level here. So we could say that a move below the 27,000 here would create the bearish pattern from that point there. But we can't turn bearish just here yet. So there's not a lot that we can do in this particular space here as well. Just on the hourly chart here, we have been long from here, taking profit here, cutting through here, going long here again, taking profit up here, and we have moved the stop up under this low. I can put it under this low here. This move down through here does look bearish here. It does appear that it does appear like 5 waves here, so it does appear that this could be corrective here. If it was going to be corrective to the upside, we can look at this in terms of to here. So that's where it can rally to. And and it could probably go a little bit higher as well. That would be the magic number here, 27,800. But if it found support on this level here, then you know that would be going higher from, whoops-a-daisy, it would be going higher from that point there. So I think this is a corrective pullback, but we may end up just getting something like an A wave here, B wave here, C wave here, and this here coming down from this low here to this high here. I mean, I'm saying this because there's a variety of counts that can come into play here, but that there would be the 61.8% that it can come back to here and then move up there. So it's either going to move straight up from here or do this and then up from this point here. So yeah, I don't particularly want to do much until we've dealt with this number here, and the number 8. 8's always, wherever you see number 8, it's always a profit-taking number. So we kind of expected this here, and we just need to see the dance that it does next for this. And China's the same as well here. So, I mean, once we get on top of the 28, then we've got something a little bit more sort of helpful. With China here, it's the same pattern but different. I won't go into the daily chart here, but we had 5 waves here. We've had a correction here. We had our buying opportunity here. We had our buying opportunity here. We've moved the stop up to this point. We've moved the stop up to here. And I'm just going to leave it here. This move here is a little bit different than Hong Kong. This level here, the 11,500, it's super important. So we don't really, the market can come down and come down through it, but we don't want to see it locked under. You know, when a market comes down to a level, it'll hit it, bounce, come through, and then it moves back up. Now, this move back up here, normally we would look for the short, 1 point under that low there. But if it come down through there, but otherwise it can just go up from that point and find support here and move up. So we never really, you know, we just use that reference point low here as the short indicator here. Not that we want to go short here, by the way, just yet. We're still looking to the upside. This here can also do the same as Hong Kong, move up here 50-60% and then come back down here and then move up from that point there as well. So this does appear to be 5 waves down here. So that means it will have a 3-wave rally back 50-60% and then another move down from this point. But we're not turning bearish here. We're looking at building on the bullish side here, even though we don't have a lot of evidence in play here. But we do have impulse waves to the upside. We are above the most important level here, and it is trying to get support here because the normal process for the upside is the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then an ABC pattern here, and then finding support. So within all of this pattern here, we've had the arrival reaction here, first high above the level. We're coming back into this space here. So we can get a bounce off this, which I'm considering this the bounce coming in here now. There may be another low here, I'm not quite sure. I haven't pulled it apart, but yeah, we're just looking for that 3-wave price action within this space here. Okay, moving over to Japan. So on the daily chart here for the Nikkei, we're looking at this wave 4 here. So we're looking at a bullish move in here. I also understand too that this, you know, until we take the high out here, or it's even a bit more than that really, this can also be, you know, the wave 4 pattern here can still be in play over here as well, in terms of all of this being an A wave here, then an A and a B and a C wave moving up here. I don't think it's the case, but you know, just, you know, it's sort of floating there. This is sort of too strong in the bullish sense here. So and this is also a good case too for accumulation and distribution as well. So normally the distribution, the accumulation process here going sideways here will equal the distribution going to the upside. That's Richard Wyckoff's work. He was around. He was the one that that first put the volume and the price relationship together, and he was in the time of Gann, and in fact those guys worked a bit together. But yeah, Richard Wyckoff. So back in the sort of 1890s to 1840s, somewhere in that space there, definitely worth looking at some of his work. In terms of this moving to the upside here, as you can see, we're in wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and we're moving up into 5 waves up in blue here for wave 3 here, and then within wave 3 here we're looking for 5 waves of this blue next degree lower here as 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 4 and 5. Inside of the third wave here we're looking for 5 waves of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then up for 5 here. The 25,000 is a medium level. It's halfway between 20 and 30 up here, so we can, I won't grab that yet, but yeah, so that's a medium level, major level, and we've got minor levels in here with minor 1, 2 and 3 here. As group 1, normally when we get support on top of group 1, it sets the target straight away at the next level here, and these are also the Fibonacci numbers running up the side here, so it's the Fibonacci as a price ratio in different degrees of structure, in different degrees of size. So wave 4-hour chart here, so we're looking at this wave 3 top here, and I think there's a little bit more to go in this. So yeah, a little bit tricky. Here's 1 and 2 here, all the way up for 3, 4 and 5 here. Once we've got 5 in here, then we'll be looking for an A wave, a B wave and a C wave in here for wave 4. Wave 4 can also pull back 38.2%, so wherever that comes in up here, so it can come back into this particular space here, so 23,500 it can pull back into. We'll look at that when it gets there a little bit a bit closer. And just going into the hourly chart to understand this a little bit better here. So we know that the 38.2% retracement level for this wave 4-2 is down here, and that's possible. So we just need to see how this goes here. We won't really, we're just keeping our stop out of the way. We've done all the right things. We're long here. We've taken part profits here. We're waiting for the wave 4 to play out. It's playing out nicely, and you know it may even be finished in here. So I mean, normally it can come, well, this wave 4 here, right? So yeah, look, it may even, yeah, it looks a bit small here so far. I mean, normally in degrees of structure, like we've got 3 and 4 here, and then we've got 3 and 4 here. This one here, this wave 4 needs to be roughly, because we work on the golden mean, the golden ratio, so 61.8, so it really needs to be 62% bigger than this one here, which it kind of is really, isn't it? So that can be the low here, but it just hasn't pulled back that much. So what we're actually looking for across the 24,000 here, as you may know, we're looking for, well, the arrival, the reaction in 3 waves. That we've got 3 waves already here, and this looks corrective in here, so it looks like it can push up into here. But the main pattern here is the arrival, the reaction in 3. We look for 5 waves above the level. There'll be 5 waves in this, and then we'll see it pull back down like that. So that becomes our entry up here. That becomes our entry. That becomes our entry. We can buy the pullback in here too if we can understand the wave count here. But this is the side where we start gleaning back in for all of this here. So this will be the wave 4 here. This will be the wave 3 up here of this one here. And then we go up for wave 5 here. So it's this area here that we're looking to build back into. We know that all this across here is just noise, and we just don't want to get involved in that. But we need to monitor it. We need to talk about it. We try and get it right. But the main point that you take away from here is that this market is finding this number as resistance, and yes, it will gather the energy and push up, but then it will fade back down, and then we start to look for support over here. So moving on to India here, I think we've got a low in India now as well. Just find it. So with the Nifty here, we're looking at, maybe have a look at the daily chart. I haven't seen that for a little while. So yes, the wave 4 here pulled back quite low really compared to where it should be here. But I'll just stay with this, and the move down through here is in 3 waves, so it is corrective. So at this stage here, we'll go to the 4-hour chart. So we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then wave B here, and then we can look at this as 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, and then last time we spoke we were just on this high here, so we were looking for a low to come into play here, so that low's in place. So we can, the indicators will probably be giving you your buying signals here. What we can wait for here, just I haven't adjusted this, so that goes there, that goes over here. So we're thinking that this is in play here, but the move in here oh yeah, I mean, if this moves, this low here is really important, because if we had a bigger bearish picture in place, like wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, wave 5, well, we know that if this crosses over the low, this low here, then we know that this whole pattern here is corrective at this point. So what we normally wait for from the lows here is we normally wait for 5 waves to the upside here. So I must have drawn this yesterday on the 11,000. I don't know if you've noted, but we'll go over it and we'll look for other entries as well. So we were looking for the first 5 waves up and then the pullback here. So in a nutshell, if I can clean this up here, we've got the first 5 waves up here, and then we've got the pullback here. So it wasn't too far away from all of this, and dances across 11,000. So really, that high here became the entry point here. So we'll put that in green just in case somebody's in there, and the reason for that, then we can look at where the stop should go. We'll also have a look for the stop can go under here for the time being. And we'll look for other entries into this here as well. So just saving this and just cleaning this up on the hop here. I don't have any more stocks to look at here on the Asian, so I'll just want to have a look in here for a second. Okay, so it becomes quite clear. This is 100 ticks, so it becomes quite clear here. We've got the move up here, then an A and a B and a C wave coming back here. Okay, so that's nice, and this is where we'd normally go long from across the top here. You could also do the same here as well, taking this one out here. So with this one here, we've got wave 1, wave 2, have to pull that apart and have a look at that in there. So I'm just having a little bit of guesswork here. Let's bring in some levels here. So 11,100, 200. We need that one. So we've either got wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and this is the 3rd wave in here, or we've got wave 1 here, wave 2 here, then wave 1 of the next smaller degree up here. But if I count this as 1 and 2 here, and we look at all of this as wave 3 and 4 here, I mean, we can see that it's getting soft here, and we're waiting for a pullback here. I might just take it down to 50 ticks and just have a look at that leg in there just for a moment. Okay, so that's the top of the 3rd wave here. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it'd have to be here. So it's like we've got 5 waves to this point here. So we're not getting a very strong pullback, are we? So like wave 1 and 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here. So it's quite bullish, really. We're not really getting that pullback there. So an A wave down here, B wave back up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C wave here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm not quite sure actually. I mean, what I'm kind of looking for, we had these here which were quite clear. We had the move up here, the ABC back, so we can take these tops out here. We had this move up here, back here, so we can take that top out here. So I'm looking for a top here, so I'm looking for, I can't draw on this side over here of the price on the tick chart, but we're looking for a pullback here, so we can put a line across the top here. This move here appears to be losing wind here, as a top, so we might see a drop back here, and then we can use that one here. If that's the case and it drops back here, then the stop needs to be below the 61.8%. So from this low here to this high here, wherever that may be, you'll have to keep your stop out of the way here, because when a market is beginning a trend, the moves back down are quite dramatic and sharp and swift, so you need to stay out of the way from those. So you need to always look to the 61.8% at the beginning of a trend, and then look to the closest largest number, and then keep the stop under that. Don't put stops on whole numbers. That's just crazy. Not to say that you're crazy, we're all a little crazy, but you just don't want to do that. So anyway, let's just watch this for a little bit longer. If you're going to move in here now, you'd still need to keep the stop where I mentioned it here, or it shouldn't breach this one here. Technically, it shouldn't breach this low here. So but still a long way away within all of this. So, all right, okay. Sorry for taking so long with all of this, but let's just see if we get some sort of pullback within all of this first. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.